This evening, education standoff mediation. The High Court initiates mediation between the government and the Guyana Teachers Union to resolve a month-long education disruption. The court emphasizes the children's welfare and the importance of addressing teachers' grievances. Controversy over compensation. Social media personality Guyanese critic denies allegations of mishandling $5 million for compensating a deceased crane operator's family. Conflicting accounts raise questions about the tragedy's compensation and family support. Qatari investment in Guyana. The Qatari Group plans a $2 billion land investment for Guyana's first five-star hotel, the Georgetown Seafront Resort. Criticism arises over the project's impact on green spaces, with clarification from the Lands Commission regarding land ownership. Wildfires in Rupununi. Wildfires continue to devastate farmlands in Napi Village, Region 9. A collaborative effort involving police, government officials, and local residents aims to combat the fires amid dry and windy conditions. Cuba's economic crisis. Cuba faces severe shortages, child malnutrition, and a UN aid appeal amid an economic crisis worsened by COVID-19 and US sanctions. Protests surge across the country as citizens struggle to access basic necessities. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for March 1st, 2024. I'm Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the High Court kicked off a mediation process earlier today aimed at resolving the ongoing standoff between the government and the Guyana Teachers Union, which has disrupted the education system for almost a month. Justice Sandal Kassoon invoked the Civil Procedures Rules 2016 for court-ordered mediation, appointing senior counsel Edward Locke and Robin Stobie as mediators. Despite objections from Attorney General Anil Nandlal, who argued that dialogue between the two parties have been consistent, attorney at law Darren Wade highlighted the government's refusal to engage in collective bargaining regarding teachers' salaries. Justice Kassoon stressed the necessity of addressing the union's concerns to ensure a full resumption of school and emphasized the importance of the children's welfare. While Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein expressed skepticism about the mediation process, the Guyana Teachers Union President Mark Lyle reiterated the union's commitment to pay talks and express confidence in the fairness of the judicial system. The mediation aims to bridge the differences between the parties and facilitate a return to normalcy, prioritizing the interests of the nation's children and addressing the teachers' grievances. Also making the headlines, social media personality Michael Rodriguez, widely known as the Guyanese critic, has refuted allegations made by T. Mohammed on social media, claiming he received $5 million from senior member Nazar Mohammed to settle a compensation claim with a family of a deceased crane operator, but only provided them with some $460,000.
Did not give me $5 million to give nobody. When I went to him, now money is paid on tranches, right? As we do work, we collect money. So you got to complete a task, right? When that man died, he had a balance of $40 million to me. But remember, because the man died, the burial wasn't completed. So I told him, I need $5 million from what you have for me. I have to deal with things in relation to the accident. You understand? But you don't settle. How much are you giving them? How do you come with how much they're entitled to?
While Rodriguez did not disclose the exact amount provided to Joseph's wife, he confirmed covering funeral expenses and disbursing the deceased's final salary. He also highlighted that the matter remains under investigation by the Ministry of Labor and cannot be resolved until the investigation concludes. Rodriguez asserted that he has maintained contact with Joseph's wife since the incident, but denies any involvement with the family member who allegedly claimed to have received only $460,000 from him. The deceased, 44-year-old Sean Anthony Joseph, was employed by Tupuli Group Construction, a company affiliated with Rodriguez, when he tragically lost his life in a workplace accident on October 2023. Meanwhile, according to Mohammed, Rodriguez visited his office at Lombard Street on October 7, 2023, and collected $5 million under the pretext of settling with Joseph's family, but failed to follow through.
The man came to me and the man said, Pops, well, so happened, and you want to go settle with the family, right?
and we collected $5 million. I don't have money for Critic. Critic got money for me right now, or the cost overrun on the project, right?
The conflicting accounts underscores the complexity of the situation, leaving unanswered questions regarding the handling of compensation for the tragic loss of a life in the workplace accident and the families left behind. In other news, wildfires continue to wreak havoc on farmlands in Napi Village, central Rupununi Region 9, as dry and windy conditions fuel the blaze, according to fire officials. Thursday saw a collaborative effort to tackle the wildfires as the police inspector, corporal, and other officers from the Letton police station, along with members of the Men on a Mission group, ventured into Napi Village to provide assistance. They joined forces with Carl Singh, the regional executive officer, personnel from the Guyana Fire Service, other government officials, and local residents to combat a bushfire near the Kanuku mountain range. Approximately 100 individuals participated in the firefighting effort throughout the day, demonstrating the unified front in addressing the ongoing crisis. Stick around when we return. Guyana, Brazil, and Suriname President forge trilateral cooperation, and Qatar's Power International Holding to invest some $2 billion for land in Ghana.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. The presidents of Guyana, Brazil, and Suriname held a trilateral meeting in Georgetown during the CARICOM conference on Wednesday, February 28th. They emphasized their commitment to sustainable development, regional peace, and cooperation. They agreed to establish working groups in infrastructure, energy, and combating transnational crime. This includes projects like paving the Linden-Lethem Road and modernizing road connections between Guyana, Suriname, and Brazil. The head of states also discussed deepening cooperation in the oil and gas sector and promoting renewable energy projects. Additionally, they pledged to enhance collaboration in fighting transnational crime including joint police operations and intelligence sharing. The presidents reaffirmed their commitment to implementing the Minamata Convention on Mercury. The meeting concluded with the joint statement highlighting their shared goals and commitment to cooperation. Moving on Thursday, the Guyana Office for Investment, Go Invest, announced that the Qatari group behind Guyana's first five-star hotel will pay some $2 billion for the Carafesta Avenue lands in Georgetown. Assets Group, a subsidiary of Power International Holding, signed a memorandum of understanding with the government of Guyana for the project on February 25, 2024. The agreement includes standard concessions for the hotel project. Go Invest emphasized that these concessions are not exclusive to the Qatari group. An investment agreement with the government of Guyana is being finalized to provide fiscal incentives consistent with the standard regime for hotel businesses and tourism sector. Power International Holdings, a Qatar-based conglomerate with diverse investments, plan to invest $64.5 billion in the project, named the Georgetown Seafront Resort and Convention Center. The development will boast 260 luxurious rooms, suites, and 150 service apartments. It aims to address Guyana's room shortages by doubling available rooms within a 1-mile radius. The resort will include a 30,000 square feet convention center to host international conferences. Criticism arose regarding the project's impact on green spaces, with claims that the land belonged to the Georgetown Mayor and City Council. However, the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission clarified that the City Council does not own the disputed lands. Don't go away after the break. Biden and Trump at U.S.-Mexico border. Immigration expected to be major election issue. And Bangladesh fire. At least 45 people killed in Dhaka building.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. How smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. As Cuba faces an economic crisis, the country is grappling with severe shortages, rising child malnutrition, and a historic appeal for UN aid. The crisis has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and US sanctions, leaving Cubans struggling to access basic necessities and leading to a surge in protests across the country.
Cubans have been accustomed to standing in line for basic goods for decades. But after 4 years of a deep economic crisis, scarcity on the island has become even more acute. Right now in Havana, long lines of cars snake outside petrol stations because there's not enough fuel. Meanwhile, agriculture production on the island has plummeted in recent years because there's no longer enough money to import fertilizer. Now, all of these things end up reducing Cubans' access to food, which is running into major difficulties. Now, for the first time in history, the Cuban government, which trumpets food security as one of the main achievements of the revolution, has asked the UN World Food Programme to help it get milk to the island's children.
Children are supposed to get 3 kilograms of milk a month, but now they are only giving 1.5 kilograms a month.
Milk. I can't remember the last time I drank milk. It's very expensive.
Although we have difficulties, we're still alive, like we Cubans say.
As far as milk is concerned, Cuban children are very privileged compared to other children in the world.
Before they used to give 2.3 kilos of rice per person per month. Now they give nearly half a kilo of rice per person per month. And that's when it's available.
Cubans have lived under tough US sanctions for well over half a century. And yet, ever since 1962, the Cuban state has ensured that every child in this land has access to milk. Today, every child up to the age of 7 is supposed to receive 3 kilograms of powdered milk every month. Now, that's one of the reasons why UNICEF, a little over a decade ago, declared that Cuba was the only country in Latin America and the Caribbean to have eliminated severe child malnutrition. But in recent years, amongst the population at large, malnutrition has increased while hunger has returned. Ed Augustin, Al Jazeera, Havana, Cuba.
A slightly unusual situation in the race for the US presidency on Thursday. The two candidates, most likely to win the nominations for their respective parties, visited the same state at the same time. But, as Patty Culhan reports, former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden sent very different messages.
The divisiveness of the presidential campaign on full display on this Brownsville, Texas street. Both sides sending a message with their presence as they wait to greet President Joe Biden as he heads to the Mexican border. The potential frontrunners hundreds of kilometers apart, but the backdrop's similar political theater. Briefings, displays, and speeches, but with very different messages. For former President Donald Trump, a dark warning without providing evidence.
It's allowing thousands and thousands of people to come in from China, Iran, Yemen, the Congo, Syria, and a lot of other nations. Many nations are not very friendly to us. He's transported the entire columns of fighting-aged men.
He blamed President Biden. The number of undocumented migrants over the last 3 years have broken records. More than 2 million people apprehended last year alone. President Biden blamed Republicans for rejecting a bipartisan deal that would have dramatically changed the immigration system and increased funding for more agents and surveillance on the border, after Trump urged them to not vote on it so it would be an issue in the election.
I understand my predecessor's legal past today. So here's what I would say to Mr. Trump. Instead of playing politics with this issue, instead of telling members of Congress to block this legislation, join me, or I'll join you, in telling the Congress to pass this bipartisan border security bill. We can do it together.
And it likely will be a big factor in the election. Polls show the majority of Americans believe immigration is the top issue facing the country. The wall separating the U.S. from Mexico has become the clearest visual of the divide on this issue. Donald Trump famously said he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. That didn't happen, but while he was in office, the majority of Americans said they didn't want the wall built. That's changed. Now 53% say they want it created. This issue is hurting Biden, and if he hopes to win re-election, he has to change the public's perception. But pictures tend to reinforce voters' beliefs. Biden, he has pictures of a broken Congress. For Trump, these images of mass migration and cities struggling to cope. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Brownsville, Texas.
A fire has killed at least 45 people in the Bangladeshi capital Dhaka inside a 6-story commercial building. But that death toll is expected to rise, with dozens of people in hospitals with critical burns. Al Jazeera's Alex Beer reports.
Frantically trying to escape. Firefighters attempt to save dozens of people from the 6-story commercial building in Bangladesh's capital.
When the fire started in the front and broke the glass, our cashier and servicemen got everyone out. But both of them died later. I went to the kitchen and broke a window and jumped to save myself.
The fire broke out in a biryani restaurant which was packed with families eating dinner. It quickly spread throughout the building, burning out of control for several hours. Doctors say many people died after jumping from windows, while those trapped inside suffocated.
We moved to the roof of the building. Around 30 people were there. After the fire was under control, fire service personnel broke into one side of the roof and rescued us.
And although the fire is now out, for many family members, the pain has only just begun. The death toll is expected to rise, with dozens of people taken to hospital with critical burns.
Fire service and law enforcement personnel worked together in the scene. Although the fire was brought under control, the people suffered massive casualties. We haven't got all the information yet. We hope to know more with time.
This fire is the latest of many which have broken out in unsafe buildings across the densely populated city. Hundreds of people have been killed in recent years, and with concerns that many of Dhaka's old buildings have not been maintained properly, there could be more accidents like this. Alex Baird, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.